Citizens, it's that time. You are officially in Alert Zone. Welcome to the Alert Zone TV. I am the Wizard, Uncle James. I want to welcome everybody to the new docu-series we got here called Never Again. And Never Again is going to be a collection of videos that I do detailing historically horrific events, not only here in America, but around the world, because the Alert Zone is a worldwide movement, and I want people to protect themselves to the best of their abilities, no matter where they are. If you are in America and you're 18 years of age or older, get legally armed. I got my Walther PK 380 on me, my EDC. If you're 18 and you haven't made 21, get your couple long guns. When you make 21, get your handgun. If you're 21 years of age or older, and you're an American citizen, you should already have you a handgun. If you don't, you're slipping up. You need to be able to protect yourself. So, this is the first episode, and today, as you guys see, I'm rocking my American flag shirt with probably one of the most infamous pictures of American slavery known. When you see this online, you see the caption that says, "One of the brutalities of slavery." This is a real picture of a guy that was, this is post-Civil War, from what I understand, after the Civil War was over. They took a picture of this guy, and, so today's, my opening episode is going to start with foundational Black Americans. I trace my lineage back to the killer cane fields of Louisiana and the blood-soaked cotton fields of Arkansas. So I'm native to the land. As I said, I'm going to go about atrocities throughout the world, but I'm going to start with me in my community and work my way out. So in the first episode, we are going to talk about a particular incident that happened here in America most people don't know about outside of the state of Mississippi. There's a lot of people in Louisiana and Texas, Arkansas, and Alabama, and Tennessee, the neighboring states of Mississippi, that don't even know of a particular place called the Devil's Punchbowl. The Devil's Punchbowl was a concentration camp that the Union Army came up with. For those of you who don't understand, the Union Army means the American Army, because you had the Union and the Confederates that fought in the Civil War. So the Union Army would be considered the North, where they tell you racism don't exist, but that's a topic for another day. The Union Army, with the explosion of people in the Natchez area, came up with a plan with the town leaders to corral the freed slaves. So they brought them to a particular place, and I'm going to read this article. Okay, by same passage, it says, Devil's Punchbowl, an American concentration camp so horrific it was erased from history. Devil's Punchbowl. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, and it reads, say the words concentration camps and most will summarize the topic surrounds World War II and the Nazis. But hard labor, consistent threat of death, and barbarism, these microcosms hells presented were unique to Adolf Hitler in just 1 year. Around 20,000 free slaves perished in the Devil's Punchbowl in Natchez, Mississippi. Now let me stop there for a minute. In American history, the part they want to erase, because Black history is American history. We know if they say 20,000, usually the number is higher. But let's just go with the article. After the Civil War, a massive exodus of former slaves from southern plantations trekked northward in hopes of reaching a location of true freedom. But embittered soldiers, resentful the people considered property were now free, had other plans. One tiny town's population mushroomed 12-fold from the influx, as a researcher, Paula Westbrook, who has intensively studied Devil's Punchbowl, noted. When the slaves were released from the plantations during the occupation, they overran Natchez, and the population went from about 10,000 to 120,000 overnight. Unable to grapple with an instant population swell, the city turned to Union tropes, still lingering after the war, to devise a merciless impediment situation. So they decided to build an encampment for him at Devil's Punchbowl, which they walled off, and wouldn't let him out of. From director of the Natchez City Cemetery, Don Estes explained. Devil's Punchbowl is so named for a cavenomorous, bowl-shaped gulch walled off by tree-topped cliffs. An area unintentionally made perfect for a hellacious prison by nature herself. If you guys hear me stammering and stuttering a little bit, it's because the sun is beaming directly in my eyes, but bear with them. A tangle of lush green Nile tops bluffs near the Mississippi Natchez River, hiding past atrocities that took place when Union armed soldiers corralled and captured those free slaves in worse conditions that they'd endured previously as slaves on sprawling plantations. In the unrelenting heat and humidity of the deep South, African American men toiled at hard labor clearing thickets of brush, while women and children, not seen as visible workforce for the task, languished without food or water behind the locked concrete walls of the camp to die of starvation. Barbarous treatment didn't even end when someone died. The Union Army did not allow them to remove the bodies from the camp, Westbrook explained. They just gave them shovels and said bury them where they drop. Bleak conditions of being cramped inside locked walls and forced to work until exhaustion or death also led to the spread of disease and illness, a little discussed but insidious issue from former slaves, killing up to 1 million individuals following the ostensive emancipation. Disease broke out among them all, smallpox being the main one, Estes said of the concentration camp prisoners, and thousands died. They were begging to get out. Turn me loose and I'll go back to the plantation anywhere but there. However, a dearth of information about these mostly postbellum camps indeed leaves significant leeway for conjecture, and a smattering of conclusions say those detained preferred the slightly greater freedom compared to brutality found on the plantations. Additionally, critics dispute Westbrook and Estes and the number who died in the Natchez camps, saying the number is likely closer to 1,000. But without medical record keeping, the figure is impossible to verify, certainly. Either way, this black eye on American history is still one of the largest, most brutal acts of state-sanctioned death in this country has ever seen. As the Civil War drew to a close during the nascent stage of emancipation, those who had been thrust into slavery and putatively freed held a precipitous place outside of society of their enslavement. Thus, legitimately freed individuals and escapees alike were captured and held in contraband camps, so named because as commodities they were considered contraband by Union troops who had no qualms about perpetuating slavery for their own benefit. 3 such camps existed in the Devil's Punchbowl area of Mississippi, Natchez. Historians' description of the Devil's Punchbowl have been loosely anecdotally backed by locals who describe human skeletons occasionally washing free from the location in the times of heavy rains and flooding. Wild peach trees now dot the basin where human beings who believe they died finally won freedom from slavery, sweated through work for different captors until death granted the ultimate reprieve. But Mississippians know better than to taste the bitter fruit fertilized with the blood of atrocity. Like so much about the history of the United States, sadistic acts perpetrated by officials acting on behalf of the government have been criminally downplayed to lessen the shame and facilitate collective memory loss. But there can be no doubt, whether unintentionally or by design, thousands succumb to inhumane conditions at these camps under added duress and of lacking the freedom of so basic is called the cornerstone of the nation. Whatever the full truth about the Devil's Punchbowl is veritable, guarantee no history book will be honest or though thorough enough to shed light on the excruciating conditions akin to Nazi concentration camps or even that forced labor continue while America readjusted its crooked and tarnished hollow after the Civil War. So let me say this. For those who don't know, again, the Devil's Punchbowl was something Union troops participated in. Honest Abe said himself, if he could have kept the Union and slavery, he would have kept both. He had to get rid of slavery to keep the Union. He didn't believe in the equality of people. He seen that the white race would be superior to us. That's Abraham Lincoln words, not mine. You can go and look them up. So, the Devil's Punchbowl was a concentration camp that happened here in America. You read the article. You are welcome to Google anything I say in this docuseries. If I say something wrong, you can check me on it. I'm okay with that. I'm just putting out my research and the facts that I have gathered. When we say never again, everybody think of Jewish people and the Holocaust that happened in Nazi Germany. We, foundational black Americans, see this, in our mind we say never again. This is why we ask you to be legally armed. Protect yourself. Love each other. Embrace each other. Like-minded people have to be around. This series is going to be documenting a lot of different atrocities that happened around the world because it can be a teaching moment for everybody. This is not to shame one group of people or make somebody feel bad. It happened. Let's talk about it so it doesn't happen again. If you don't think something has ever happened, then you don't think it will. Just like people who say that type of stuff don't happen here until it happens here. We say school shootings can't happen here until Columbine. The Devil's Punchbowl is a stain on American history that they want to erase. Join me, Uncle James. Join us, members of the Alert Zone, as we get legally armed and we all say, like the Jews, never again. Hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. Did you know about the Devil's Punchbowl? And if you did, what you heard about it. I myself have heard the stories throughout the years as a young man. I did hear that that was some of the most fertile ground in Mississippi, that the peaches just grow like nothing. So hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think, not only about this video, but about the idea of docuseries. And until next time, everybody out there, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert, and we out.